ミクダヨスイッチ。
It is difficult to imagine what the Vocaloid franchise would be like if Miku had not come along. Would Rin, Luca, or Gumi have been able to carry the Vocaloid brand as well as Miku has? Possibly. But if you happen to be one of the few Vocaloid fans out there who genuinely don't care for Miku, even you have to admit that Miku's voice has performed remarkably well considering its age. Miku was Japan's first Vocaloid to use the Vocaloid 2 engine. In these past 6 years, her voice has been taken to its limits again and again, and it still sounds great. But it is the oldest Japanese voice bank that is compatible with the Vocaloid 3 engine, as Vocaloid 1 generation voice banks won't work with it. So it's understandable that Miku's original voice bank lacks the smoothness of the newer Vocaloids. Vocaloid producers have done a fantastic job at hiding Miku's weaknesses and faults over the years, but now they don't have to. Hatsune Miku V3 was released September 26, 2013, and it has been in the making for at least 2 years. Miku V3 gives our digital diva 8 new voice banks, for an astounding total of 15. Thankfully, Miku's V2 voice bank has finally received the update it has demanded for so long, with Miku Original. No, it's not called Miku Straight for some reason. Miku Original is a new recording of her original V2 voice bank. But in keeping with the trend that Crypton started with Kaito V3, Miku V3 comes with several other voice banks as well, which are updates to her append voice banks. Miku V3 includes V3 versions of the dark, sweet, soft, and solid voice banks from Miku Append. You may notice that list is missing 2 append voice banks, namely Light and Vivid. Those 2 voice banks are not included with Miku's current V3 package. Crypton gave some copies of V3 Lite and V3 Vivid to users for free, but it required owning Hatsune Miku, Miku Append, and Miku V3, and registering all 3 of those products with Yamaha by mid-October. As a result, relatively few users can use those 2 voice banks right now. They will become available for purchase by everyone in the near future. Why exactly those 2 voice banks were left out of the main Miku V3 package is not clear, but it's not surprising that some voice banks were left out. At $220, the V3 bundle, which includes Miku English, gives you 6 voice banks right now. It's also no surprise that Miku V3 sold very well. In fact, she sold so well that for a couple nights following September 26th, Yamaha's product authentication servers were completely overwhelmed by users trying to register Miku V3. No one could register any Vocaloid installations at all, not even for Western Vocaloids, as they all connect to the same servers for verification. And that was just the online digital download purchases. In the middle of October, Crypton had over 10,000 physical copies of Miku V3 backordered, because each Miku V3 box was hand-packed and hand-sealed, so it took a while to ship them all out. In some promotional videos, the folks at Crypton explained that Miku's V3 development was slightly different than most other voice banks. Miku's voice is so iconic that they went to great lengths to make sure Miku Original sounded as much like her V2 voice as possible, while still being an improvement. But if you listen carefully, or if you use the software yourself, you'll notice the differences, which are primarily in Miku's smoothness. She transitions from note to note much better than her V2 voice bank did, and some of her transition errors were fixed. Of course, Miku V3 does sound slightly different from Miku V2 due to the 6-year difference in recordings, but it's not as obvious as Kaito V3. There was also a focus on making Miku easier for beginners to use, and a lot of work has gone into Pia Pro Studio for that reason. All of the append voice banks were likewise re-recorded and updated. V3 Sweet continues to have Miku's widest optimal tempo range. Some say that V3 Dark sounds a little more mature than V2 Dark, and V3 Soft and V3 Solid have a bit more power behind their notes. Because V3 Lite and V3 Vivid are not a part of this package, Miku V3 as a whole is less suited to faster paced or more powerful songs than the V2 Miku Append set, as V3 Solid is the only updated append voice bank designed for upbeat songs available for now. Like Kaito V3, Miku V3 has received a new character design that is a subtle update from her original. The artist for her V3 look is Ixima from Osaka, Japan. She did Kaito V3's redesign, and she is reportedly working on Meiko V3's as well. Ixima has done a beautiful job updating Miku without changing her sense of style. I like that her shirt changed to a bright white, and her hair looks fantastic. She changed Miku's hair ties so that they are actually attached to her headphones, which will be great for cosplayers as Miku's hair ties were the most difficult part to get right, since they don't actually touch her hair. Ixima has also drawn art of Rin, Len, and Luca for a trading card game, so if she's also selected to draw the V3 designs for them, we will have an idea of what to expect. Despite selling like hotcakes, I don't think Miku V3 is going to make an obvious or immediate impact on Vocaloid music. Rather, I believe that what Crypton wants to accomplish with Miku V3 is to draw in new Vocaloid users. Crypton hints at this desire with Pia Pro Studio, which I mentioned in Kaito V3 segment early this year. You see, back in the Vocaloid 2 era, each Vocaloid you purchased came with a full editor so that you could use the voice bank. But this meant that every Vocaloid came with its own version of the Vocaloid 2 engine, so installing multiple Vocaloids could cause issues, especially when those Vocaloids were of different languages. Vocaloid 3 changed this by separating the voice banks from the engine itself. When you purchase a Vocaloid 3 product, you are only purchasing the voice banks themselves. Each Vocaloid comes with a basic version of the Vocaloid 3 editor, known as the Light or Tiny editor. This editor is very limited, however, as it can't make full-length songs and many of the Vocaloid 3 engine features are disabled. The full Vocaloid 3 editor, which has all of the features unlocked, is a separate purchase of around $110. Now this may seem like a bait and switch if you're hearing this for the first time, but it is a better system. It sounds like you're paying more, but Vocaloid 3 voice banks cost much less than Vocaloid 2 voice banks do. The full editor is also a one-time purchase. You can use any of the Vocaloid 3 voice banks with it, which means you only have one piece of software to update, and you don't have to worry about compatibility problems between voice banks. Crypton's Vocaloids are among the most popular, but they are also reasonably priced. So to win over more customers, instead of raising prices, which I don't think is possible because I believe Yamaha controls pricing in the franchise, Crypton tries to offer more value. Ever since Miku Append, or really even since Rin and Len, Crypton learned that offering multiple voice banks is a great way to attract customers. So with their Vocaloid 3 releases, they seem committed to releasing several voice banks for each of their Vocaloids without charging much more for them. Many single voice bank Vocaloid 3 products cost around $100, but Miku's V3 basic package, which does not include Miku English, retails at $170, which is only around $35 per voice bank. This will no doubt help them win back existing producers who have grown accustomed to other companies' Vocaloids since the third generation began. The tremendous value of the Crypton V3 Vocaloids will earn them new users as well, but they wanted to go even further by creating Pia Pro Studio. The people at Crypton realized that needing to purchase the full V3 editor put off a lot of musicians who were getting into Vocaloid for the first time. But the Vocaloid 3 editor is Yamaha software, not Crypton's, so Yamaha develops it and sets its price point. The only way to help these new Vocaloid users would be to offer an alternative editor, and that is Pia Pro Studio. In terms of features, Pia Pro Studio seems to be very similar to the full Vocaloid 3 editor. The reason you would get excited about Pia Pro Studio is that it is free. If you purchase Kaito V3, Miku V3, or Miku V3 English, you automatically receive a full-featured editor and you do not have to buy the Vocaloid 3 editor separately. This is a great incentive if you're new to using Vocaloids. The downside is that these are the only Vocaloid products that Pia Pro Studio works with. If you decide to buy a non-Crypton Vocaloid, you will have to buy the Vocaloid 3 editor in order to use it properly. As an aside, there are so-called starter packs available for purchase which give you the full editor along with the Vocaloid, and they save you some money compared to buying the product separately, but not all Vocaloids have starter pack or editor bundle versions. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe Miku V3 will change the franchise in a big way. But Rather than setting the bar, I see Miku as the roots that hold the Vocaloid tree up. Now, you all know that Luca is my favorite, but I honestly believe Miku is the best mascot the Vocaloids could ask for. I don't think the franchise would be where it is today if it weren't for our little first sound of the future.
イヤホンを外したら雨音 飛びますが伝えます。もうちょっとで外に出られるのにな。どうやってもうまく